Okay, welcome everyone to Career Talk with Wes. And the show is about all things career, a place where we can come together and talk about every aspect of career transition, career movement, career planning, strategy, career inspection, career analysis. We're covering it all, folks. The topic for today is going to be about interviewing. And when we want to interview, of course, we want to be our best. We want to be our most confident selves. I want to talk with you about what you're going to say. In other words, your manner of speaking. And some of the mechanics are technical aspects of that. These few little items I'm going to give you are really powerful. There's simple ways to move your presentation from to sounding not so confident to very confident, sounding unsure to sure, sounding powerless to powerful. While being so simple, they're not easy. They're difficult because they're based around habits. They're habits, and they're usually well entrenched habits. The first one is filler words. And the suggestion here is eliminate filler words, or at least reduce your filler words. Filler words, just in case I'm not being clear there. I mean, all those needless things. I'm encouraging you, work on those filler words, eliminate them. Why? Because they distract from your message. They discount your message. They reduce how confident you sound. You can be very confident. You can feel confident. You can act confident, but filler words will take away from how confident you sound, because filler words are exactly what they sound like. There are important words that you're saying in an interview, and then there are filler words that you're dropping in like, I can't think of a big list of them right now, but I'm sure you know yours. There are those little utterances you drop between important things to bridge that gap, right? You're in the middle of making a point. There's one. Or people say, right, all right. That's a filler word. We're not really intending anything there. If that word isn't intentional, if that word isn't there to accomplish something, it's a filler word. So there's one right now. So, not necessary. Eliminate all those. The next tip is how you eliminate them. But first I want you to stop and think consciously first about your filler words. They are taking away from you. They're hurting your presentation. They're hurting your interview. They're discounting the important things you're saying. Here's another thing that they do. I think it's part of their purpose. For two reasons we may add filler words. One, we add filler words because when we do, then we say these really important things like, I'm going to solve this mathematical problem. And then we want to get to the next thing we're going to say it's important, but we don't want the language to stop. Maybe we don't want somebody to jump in. Maybe we don't want to sound, maybe we are fearing the silence, that's a big reason. We don't want silence in between there, God forbid. So we go in with I'm going to send a rocket to Venus, and then we're going to measure blah, blah, blah. And those fillers are just designed to not have silence. But what they're doing is creating, you're constantly talking and it all sounds like blush. Whereas if there were important words with pauses without a filler, everything would sound important, everything would sound intended, and you would look and sound more confident. Filler words, find out what they are and how to get rid of them. Next, insert pauses like I just did. You say what you want to say. I'm going to send a rocket to Venus for scientific purposes. Pause. Because the next step for us is to do some exploring on the surface where we hope to discover something new. Now, those silences I just put in, one, are pauses, and they are powerful. You create these spaces between the important things you have to say that get absorbed because I'm leaving you some room to absorb them, and all I'm giving you are the important things that I want to say. So I'll step out of that little act. And the point is that everything I said there in the latter part where I did it correctly with the pauses was important to what I was saying. There was no filler. And I left these uncomfortable, pregnant kind of pauses purposefully so that they could show that I only am going to say what I'm confident about saying. I think I will more so have your attention as I strategically place these pauses. I get your attention. You hang on there with me to see what's coming next. That's a very powerful move in a presentation or an interview or any kind of speech delivery. A pause that's filled with silence, especially if that silence also includes eye contact. I haven't stopped making eye contact because we're in a pause. I expect I still have your attention. If you can move from filler words to silent pauses purposefully, get rid of all the useless words in between, practice doing that over and over, you'll start to do it quite naturally. So there you go. You've got eliminating filler words, adding the pauses, and the pauses are silence. And one more word about silence. It's extremely powerful. Silence means I'm confident enough to not jump in and fill this emptiness. That speaks confidence. People who don't feel confident will rush to fill that empty space. That may be what's happening for you. You have the empty space and feel, oh, I gotta fill that. Oh, this is terrible. There's nothing happening. That's what you need to let happen. Silence. It will work in your favor. Next, I'm going to give you 2 bonus ones. Number 1, it's something I call trail ups. And this is when you make a statement. However, the tone of the statement sounds like a question. So you say, I'll be launching a rocket and going to Venus so that we can explore the surface or something. It sounds like I'm asking questions, but meanwhile I'm making statements. And therefore it sounds less confident or definitive and more like you're asking questions. So somebody says, how was your day? I went to the store. Well, do you not know if you went to the store? Are you asking me? Right? I don't know. The thing we want to do here is make definitive statements. I went to the store. I went grocery shopping. I got everything I need. I had a great time. So not questions. Don't do this trail up at the end. When what's happening technically, you're literally raising the tone of your voice to a higher pitch at the end. That's what questions do. They go steady until you say the question part. and that's what you're doing with a statement if that's what you're doing. And it hurts your confidence. If you want to come across somebody's confident, executive presence, it isn't going to be these trail ups. It's going to be statements that go steady and then they drop down. In particular, it's that different. The hockey stick goes up for question marks and the hockey stick goes down for definitive, confident statements. Going to the store now. It goes down a little bit. I was at that company for 3 years and then I decided to leave. It goes down a little bit at the end. Now I decide to leave. Do I not know why I decided to leave? I think my point is made. Here's your final bonus tip for interviewing and presenting. What I call them are qualifiers or disclaimers. They're little tags that we put on the end of a statement because apparently we don't feel that the statement is good enough as it is. They say to you, would you be open to a hybrid position? Actually, I'm not so sure that would work for me. I mean, maybe I'd considered it depending on, what this arrangement would be. Now we're into qualifiers and disclaimers. If what you wanted to say, they were going to ask you, are you open to a hybrid schedule? And you know your answer, no, I'm not, or yes, I am. Then dropping qualifiers on the end of that tends to discount whatever it is you were going to say. So as much as possible, you want to deliver whatever you're delivering with a solid, definitive statement that that goes from the capital letter in the beginning to the period at the end. You don't tag on something. Guess what goes on the end? Just guess. The pause, the silence, that's what goes on the end. I can be available to start on the 17th. Especially now, if you're negotiating. This is where it really comes in as a powerful thing. This is when you really need these statements to be definitive with a period at the end and no qualifiers. I thank you for your offer, and there are some things I would like you to change, and if you do, we can move forward. I would like you to change this to this, move this to this, move this to this. No qualifiers. No, because blah, blah, blah. Or maybe if you could, nothing. Silence. This, and this, silence. Why? Because what you're doing at that moment is you're putting the discomfort of silence on the table between you and that person. And that's a good thing, because you're done talking and now you've given them the problem of who's going to speak next and what will be said next. You've said what you need to say. Don't help them. Once you say what you need or want to say to an adult, you don't need to then cushion the blow, soften it, qualify it. If we're talking about something that you may have said and you think, whoa, that was so confusing, I'm pretty sure they won't understand it, you can add an explanation for a technical reason. What I'm asking you to watch out for is adding that extra qualifier, explanation, or something to ease tension, to fill silence, to gain favor, to gain approval. So here's where another tricky one comes in. If you're the person that says what you want to say, you say it definitively, and then at the end of it, you crack a little smile, ha ha ha, or add a little joke. This another way of softening what you just said or qualifying by saying, oh, it wasn't all that serious. You don't have to take me seriously. I'll just add a little joke and a smile onto everything I say so that there's always room to run with it wherever you want to. That's going to hurt you because it'll discount your confidence. It'll make your words less powerful. And it also teaches somebody that I'm not content delivering my message to you. I have to also make sure you like me at the end of it. Well, especially if I said something that was a demand. I will need you to be there Friday morning at 7 o'clock in order for us to make this deal happen. Silence. Not, if that's okay. Or joke. When we're in an interview, there's not a ton of room for wishy-washy endings. We're wanting to display confidence and surety and our power and our confidence in ourselves, in our speech, in our preparedness. And therefore, we don't want to be softening it all up with all these extra things. It's like as if you did whatever it is you need to do at a company. You don't have to deliver flowers after that. That's what you're essentially maybe doing. Delivering some flowers, adding a little chocolate and candy and stuff to it, or putting fluffy things on the end so that you cushion the blow or make it easy for them. If that's going on, adding qualifiers and discounting what you say right after you say it, that might point to a larger issue that I would suggest is something to look into on another level. I could work with you on coaching on that level. But at a very simple level, if you see there's a pattern, I don't stop after what I say that I meant to be definitive. I tend to add something, either a filler or a laugh or a qualifier. Say something and mean it. I hope that allows you to go into your next presentation, interview, professional conversation, meaningful conversation that you would like to be definitive and confident and show your steadiness and surety. Your steadiness, your surety. These will help you. That's all for today on Career Talk with Wes. I'm here every day on LinkedIn and Facebook, every weekday that is, at 12 noon Eastern. And I'm available to take on clients if you're interested. This is a free space where we can talk about career items together. And if you want to work with me separately, different story, but I will then let you know what that means and how to get involved with career coaching with me. Have a great day. This has been Career Talk with Wes and Wes Ehnert, and the show is done for now. See you next time.